Bicolanos, alas-2 na, DOSTkusyon na! Handog sa inyo ng Department of Science and Technology, Region 5. Layunin nito makapagbigay impormasyon tungkol sa agham, teknolohiya at iba't ibang programa ng DOST sa pamumuno ni DOST-5 Regional Director, Mr. 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙏. Abangan ngayong Biyernes ang kauna-unahang digital S&T library sa bansa, hatid ng DOST sa probinsya ng Albay. Abot-kamay ang impormasyon at edukasyong 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙏 at teknolohiya dahil star ang kaalaman sa DOST-STARBOOKS. Balik Puso, Balik Pilipinas. Kilalanin natin si Dr. Myra Villareal at ang programa ng serbisyong S&T para sa bayan ng DOST, ang Balik Scientist Program. At ang latest sa agham at teknolohiya para sa nutrisyon, ibabalita ng DOST-Food and Nutrition Research Institute. Ang Buwanang Ulat ni Direktor, ihahatid ni Dr. Imelda Angeles-Agdeppa. Lahat ng yan, pakatutukan ngayong Biyernes, alas-2 ng hapon sa DOST Region 5 Facebook page at YouTube channel, sa 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙏𝙠𝙪𝙨𝙮𝙬 at 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙎𝙏 sa �2:30 sa Radyo Veritas Legazpi at Veritas TV. Mapapanood din sa Facebook pages ng PIA Bicol, DOST-FNRI at Pisay Bicol. Ito ang ating nag-iisang usapang agham at teknolohiya sa Ka-Bicolan, ang Alas-2 na, DOSTkusyon na!
Marahay na hapon, Bicolandia! Samahan niyo po kami sa isa na namang episode ng ating nag-iisang usapang agham at teknolohiya sa Ka-Bicolan. Ngayong Biyernes, tatalakayin natin ang mga programa ng DOST para sa kaalaman at serbisyong S&T para sa bansa. Maririnig din natin ang Buwanang Ulat ng DOST Food and Nutrition Institute para sa mga programang pangnutrisyon noong Agosto. I-like and share ang episode na ito sa official Facebook pages ng DOST Region 5, PIA Bicol, Radyo Veritas Legazpi, Bicol Idol FM Daet at Bicol Idol FM Naga. At huwag din kalimutang mag-subscribe sa aming YouTube channel at i-click ang notification bell para maging updated sa mga susunod na episodes. Ako po ang inyong Ka-Agham, si R.D. Romel. Ito ang Alas-2 na, DOSTkusyon na! Mga Ka-Agham, alam niyo ba na ang kauna-unahang digital library sa Pilipinas ay gawa ng DOST? Ito ang science and technology academic and research-based openly operated kiosks o STARBOOKS, isang mahusay na resource ng kaalamang S&T. Maigting na isinusulong ng DOST-5 ang STARBOOKS, lalo na sa mga geographically isolated and economically challenged na mga paaralan at komunidad. Dahil dito sa Bicol, star ang kaalaman sa DOST-STARBOOKS. Balik Puso, Balik Pilipinas. Yan naman ang adhikain ng Balik Scientist Program. Isang programang humihikayat sa ating mga scientists, technologists at experts na ng ibang bansa upang bumalik at ibahagi ang kanilang galing at makatulong sa pag-unlad ng bansa sa pamamagitan ng agham, teknolohiya at inobasyon. Lahat ng yan, tunghayan natin mga Ka-Agham. Narito po ang ating DOST-5 News Beats.
Matagumpay na iginawad ng DOST Region 5 ang kauna-unahang S&T Digital Library sa bansa para sa Malidong National High School sa bayan ng Pidoran, Albay nitong ika-21 ng Setyembre. Ang STARBOOKS o ang Science and Technology, Academic and Research-Based Openly Operated Kiosk Station ay dinevelop ng DOST Science and Technology Information Institute o STII. Isa itong stand-alone library in a box na naglalaman ng iba't ibang klase ng digital resources na mapagkukunan ng impormasyon sa agham at teknolohiya.
Pagdating sa access sa internet, malaki yung kinakaharap na problema ng paaralan. Unang-una, wala ditong signal ng network. Kahit anong klaseng network, walang signal dito sa loob ng paaralan. Lalong-lalo na sa internet. Ngayon, malaking katugunan itong STARBOOKS sapagkat maaaring ma-access ito ng mga bata kahit walang gamit ng internet. Offline, ika nga, kayang-kaya na nilang ma-access lahat ng learning resources na kailangan nila. Madali rin nilang masagawa yung mga takdang aralin nila sapagkat hindi na sila mahirapan pang mag-research, pumunta doon sa sentro, gumamit ng internet para mag-research sapagkat sa isang click lamang, kahit gamit lang ang kanilang Android phone or smartphone, ay maaari na nilang ma-access ang DOST-STARBOOKS. Malaking tulong ito sa mga kabataan, sa mga mag-aaral ng Malidong High School.
Naging susi din sa matagumpay na kolaborasyon ng DOST-5 at Malidong National High School ang inisyatibo ni Mr. Jasper Kim Enrico, isang dating DOST scholar na ngayon guro sa nasabing paaralan.
So naisipan ko pong makipag-partner sa DOST sapagkat nakita ko yung isa sa mga problema ng paaralan nung simula pa nung ako'y napunta dito noong taong 2017. So nakita ko po yung mga problema sa learning resources, particularly po sa science and technology and other learning resources. Nang malaman ko ang programa ng DOST tungkol sa STARBOOKS, ako po ay nag-initiate na maidala din at ma-experience din ng mga mag-aaral na mapalapit din sa science and technology.
8,000 mag-aaral naman ng Daraga National High School o DNHS ang nabiyayaan din ng tulong kaalaman sa pamamagitan ng STARBOOKS. Nitong ika-22 ng Setyembre, pinangunahan ng DOST-5 STARBOOKS team at ng Provincial Science and Technology Office ng Albay ang STARBOOKS Orientation at Training para sa mga guro at mag-aaral ng DNHS na sinundan ng paglagda ng Memorandum of Understanding sa pagitan ng DOST-5 at ng paaralan. Ibinahagi ni Engineer Domingo A. Peña Jr., Provincial S&T Director ng Albay, ang kanyang galak sa patuloy na pagdami ng mga benepisyaryo ng STARBOOKS mula nang simulan ang programang ito sa rehiyon noong 2012. Umaasa ang ahensya na sa tulong ng STARBOOKS ay makapaghatid tayo ng tamang impormasyon at angkop na kaalaman hindi lamang sa mga estudyante at mga guro, kundi sa buong komunidad. Sa pamamagitan ng siyensya at teknolohiya, hangad ng DOST, kaagapay ang sektor ng edukasyon na pagtibayin ang kalidad ng kaalaman at karunungan saan man sa bansa. Dahil star ang kaalaman sa DOST STARBOOKS.
Sa Department of Science and Technology, maraming salamat po sa inyong napakagandang inisyatibo. Malaking tulong po ito sa mga kabataang Pilipino sapagkat matutugunan nito yung isa sa mga kakulangan o problemang kinakaharap ng paaralan, yung pagkaroon ng isang maayos at magandang library sa pamamagitan ng inyong proyekto na STARBOOKS. Abot-kamay na ang lahat ng mga learning resources na kailangan nila. Maraming salamat, Department of Science and Technology, sa inyong magandang inisyatibo.
Ito po ang inyong Ka-Agham, 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙏𝙪, nag-uulat para si DOST-5 Newsbeats.
Isang makaagham na hapon po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Myra Villareal, isang DOST PCHRD Balik Scientist sa taong ito. Ako po ay lumaki sa Naga City pero pinanganak po sa Legazpi City, Albay. For my academic background, ako po ay nagtapos ng aking undergraduate at master's degrees sa University of the Philippines in Los Baños. And for my doctorate po, nagpunta po ako sa Tsukuba, Japan, and I obtained my PhD from the University of Tsukuba in Tsukuba City, Japan. I've heard about the Balik Scientist Program before, but it is only then that someone really invited me to be part of it. So, as part of my research work in Tsukuba, I also belong to different research projects. So, one of these projects is a collaboration. Part of my work in this project is giving training to Moroccan and Tunisian researchers, professors, and students. After completing my PhD, I worked at the University of Tsukuba, first as a researcher, and then eventually I became an associate professor. And since 2011, I became a part of the projects, which is collaborative research work with the universities and research institutions in Morocco and Tunisia, as well as in France, in the University of Montpellier in France, as well as in Bordeaux in France. And part of my work there is to provide training to researchers, professors, and students from those countries. And I realized that I've been teaching all this know-how from Japan to these researchers from these countries. And I think every time I visit those countries, I realize that I can also give this to the Philippines. So that actually something that I thought of, but I didn't really think about the Balik Scientist until last year. So the election last year actually was an eye-opener, because the candidates talked about the need for changes in the Philippines. And I got into thinking about what I can also contribute. I think the word there was ambag, right? People were asking about, ano yung ambag mo? So that got me into thinking. And again, I was reminded about the Balik Scientist Program that I was informed about in 2016 when Miss Paula De Leon visited the University of Tsukuba. So she sent me all the documents that were required, but it was only next year that I looked up those documents again and started the process of applying for the Balik Scientist Program. As a Balik Scientist, the first phase, because I divided my engagement to 3 phases. The first phase was online, because we were still in the pandemic. So it was mainly about giving lectures and webinars and talks to people who are involved. And it was fun engaging with a lot of people from the Philippines. But it is only when I went on site on the second phase, and this time on the third phase, that my eyes were really open to the needs of the universities here in the Philippines, especially the state universities here in the Philippines. So I realized that a lot of inputs are actually needed as far as research is concerned. So an example would be in planning for the research plans of the students. I was asked to judge a competition, an oral presentation for students who were given a scholarship by the DOST. And reading those theses, I realized that a lot is actually needed in terms of guidance for students, and as well as probably the professors, because there's a big gap between the research that's being done here in the Philippines and the research level or the research that's being done abroad. So I feel that the Balik Scientists have a lot of work to be done in terms of bridging that gap, so that the Philippine research community would be at par with researchers abroad. When I finally decided to become a Balik Scientist, so the next step is to decide which university would benefit from my expertise. So initially I was thinking my alma mater, which is the University of the Philippines in Los Baños. And I already talked to the professors at the university, and they were very happy to have me as their Balik Scientist. But then last year I was also invited by BU College of Science Dean, Professor 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙏 Serrano, to give a talk in their biology students internship program.
From the College of Science, I am the Dean, Professor 𝘿𝙊𝙎𝙏 Serrano, also a biologist. I took the challenge of inviting a Balik Scientist in Bicol University. So during this first stint of Dr. Villareal, she was assigned classes in the undergraduate and in the graduate level, particularly in the Department of Biology. Some colleges would also invite Dr. Villareal to talk on research publication, and on research ethics.
So it is then that I realized that BU needs me more than UPLB needs me. So I think as Balik scientists, we should go where we're needed most. So the state universities and colleges would benefit more from our expertise. And I'm not saying that the state universities don't need us, but at this point, we need to also elevate the level or help improve the state universities' research environment so that they would also be at par with the national universities or so-called the bigger universities in our country. What's my vision for BU? So my vision for BU is for BU to have a science culture that's alive and at the center of every conversation. So let's veer away from politics or daily marites talks, but rather focus on science. So let's talk about science. And specifically, we would like to have a functional food research program here in Bicol. And the best place to have that is the Bicol University. So to have that, we also want to have a mammalian cell culture laboratory that would help us establish the scientific evidence of all the medicinal plants or foods in Bicol region specifically. But of course, having it in BU would also mean that it could also be used to service the whole of Bicol region and even South Luzon and even the whole Philippines if we can work on making it work.
So this Balik Scientist Program of the DOST PCHRD will be of great help, especially to SOOKs in the provinces, and that is where Bicol University belongs. So I hope that with her engagement in Bicol University, not only the College of Science will be benefited, but the whole university as well.
So what's my advice to those who would like to become a Balik scientist? So first is to identify a need in your host institution. And next is to have concrete or solid deliverables in terms of what should be the output. So let's not just have lectures, but rather have concrete output, like if you can encourage or inspire them to publish more papers, that would be good, not just for the community or not just for their promotion, but for the research community in the Philippines as well. So that would also put the Philippines in the world map as a center for research. Also, if you can inspire a lot of people, a lot of students to become scientists, so that would also be very good for the science community in the Philippines. So we need more scientists and we need more Balik scientists in the Philippines.
Ang Food and Nutrition Research Institute o FNRI ang sangay ng DOST na katuwang sa pagpapaigting ng pambansang nutrisyon sa pamamagitan ng agham, teknolohiya at pagsasaliksik. Ngayong Season 3, makakasama natin muli ang DOST FNRI sa pagtuklas ng mga programang S&T para sa nutrisyon. Kaya naman, narito po ang Buwanang Ulat ng Direktor para sa buwan ng Agosto. Kasama si Dr. Imelda Angeles-Agdeppa.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Nandito po muli ang DOST FNRI Buwanang Ulat ng Director, kasama ang iyong lingkod, Dr. Imelda Angeles-Agdeppa. Hatid namin po sa inyo ngayon ang mga activities ng DOST-FNRI sa buwan ng Agosto. Ngunit bago po ang lahat, join me in congratulating our new Secretary, Dr. Renato Solidum Jr. As usual, the DOST-FNRI is very proud to have him as our new Secretary. He is a man of honor and hard work. Since 1984, Dr. Solidum has championed the science community through the years of public service with disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation as his concentration. Prior to his appointment, Dr. Solidum served as DOST Undersecretary for Scientific and Technical Services and the OIC of the DOST 𝘼𝙭𝙭. Again, from your DOST family, congratulations, Secretary Solidum. Zooming in now to the DOST-FNRI activities, we like to inform you that we have generated jobs through our technology transfer and commercialization efforts to numerous SMEs. To date, we have a total of around 350 SMEs and has employed around 2,000 workers. For this month of August alone, DOST-FNRI food technologies were transferred to new licensees, about 4 licensees from Region 3, NCR, and Calabarzon. Moreover, we received 12 letters of intent from various regions to adopt the DOST-FNRI's technologies such as 1. Iodine drinking water, complementary foods composed of rice mango blend, rice mango curls, and coconut blend. Cocoa puff and cocoa biscuits are also commercialized and transferred. The DOST-FNRI conducted technology forum among the staff and members of the National Irrigation Administration in Region 4. This is actually the part of the Enhanced Partnership Against Hunger and Poverty. DOST-FNRI organized and conducted a technology forum for 41 employees of this National Irrigation Administration at the DOST-FNRI auditorium. They have been toured around the area, and DOST-FNRI facilities such as the food processing facility, food analytical laboratory, and of course the 𝘿𝙧𝙊𝙎𝙏 garden. For the Institute's Research and Development Innovation, DOST-FNRI published or have already published the study on breakfast in the Philippines, a manuscript on breakfast in the Philippines, food patterns, and nutritional profile results from the 2018 National Nutrition Survey, with the director as a principal author. This was actually published in the Nutrition Journal. Results of the study showed a high percentage of breakfast consumers in the Philippines with an average of 95 to 98% of Filipinos across all age groups. Naniniwala po tayo dito dahil po mayroon po tayong kasabihan na ang almusal ay yun ang mabisa o kaya the most important part of the meal of the day, no? So this study found that those who tend to eat breakfast are Filipino adults and elderly who were female, and they were actually living in urban areas, and of course the college graduates. Now for our study or our research on My Gene, My Diet, 9 participants underwent anthropometric measurements already, and interviews and blood extractions were already conducted to actually examine and analyze blood sugar, blood lipids. After the analysis, a physician was also, the services of a physician was actually availed by these participants. The study aims to evaluate the efficacy of DNA-based nutrition and lifestyle recommendation in the management of overweight and obesity among Filipino adults. Now, we still need around 30 participants, so we encourage more participants to join the study. For the inclusion criteria, you can just contact us. Now, our data collection from the randomly selected provinces and highly urbanized cities covered in 2019, that's actually a pre-pandemic period, for the National Nutrition Survey is ongoing in 6 different areas. Now, results of this study will actually provide us information on nutritional status of Filipino population during the pre-pandemic and during the somewhat we call latent stage of the pandemic. As of August 20, 2022, 43% of our households were already covered. Now, the DOST-FNRI conducted an assessment of various food items from Robinson's supermarket for the Green Tag campaign. The Green Tag campaign is in partnership with the Robinson's supermarket. The DOST-FNRI determines which of the submitted products have at least 3 of the 8 health benefits, like low calorie, low fat, low unsaturated fat, sugar-free, low calorie or low cholesterol, low sodium, it's actually a protein source and fiber source. Milestones of DOST-FNRI for August as part of our continuing efforts and initiatives to fulfill our mandate to define the nutritional status of Filipinos and develop and recommend policy options, strategies, programs, and projects that address various nutritional problems. This Buwanang Ulat ng Director partially contributes to our third mandate of diffusing knowledge and technologies in food and nutrition and in providing science and technology services to our relevant stakeholders. Again, thank you for your support. I'd like to post this food for thought for everyone before I end. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. Nothing can be more significant than the first step. Hence, we need to start, have our first step strong, and to finish strong in serving our countrymen with a strong, healthy heart. Until the next Buwanang Ulat ng Director for September, this is Imelda Angeles-Agdeppa signing off for today. Maraming salamat po.
Isang edisyon na naman ng Usapang SNT ang ating natunghayan. At sa pagtatapos ng linggong ito, baon ninyo ang mga kwento at impormasyong hinandog namin sa hapong ito. Patuloy pong abangan ang aming mga susunod na episodes dahil tunay naman na ramdam ang agham, teknolohiya at inobasyon dito sa Kabikolan. Bisitahin po ang mga websites ng DOST at i-like and follow ang Facebook pages ng DOST Region 5 at ng aming Provincial Science and Technology Offices. Huwag rin kalimutang i-like at mag-subscribe sa aming YouTube channel. Ako po ang inyong Ka-Agham, si RD Romel. Magkita-kita po tayong muli sa susunod na Biyernes, dito lamang sa ating nag-iisang Usapang Agham at Teknolohiya sa Kabikolan. Ang Alas-DOST na, DOSTkusyon na!